The most surprising part of the story isn't the billionaire or the danger. It's the waitress. Someone the world might overlook, someone whose role was meant to be invisible, became the most important person in the room. We're conditioned to believe that power only belongs to those with titles, money, or authority, but moments like this expose how wrong that thinking is. Insight doesn't come with a uniform, and bravery doesn't require a spotlight. She noticed what others ignored, and instead of assuming it wasn't her place to act, she did something. That choice required awareness, empathy, and courage, all qualities that don't show up on a resume. Every day, we pass people who see more than we think, who understand situations deeply but are rarely asked. When we learn to respect and listen to those voices, we unlock perspectives that can protect us, guide us, and sometimes even save us. Because greatness often stands quietly right beside us. What saved him in that moment wasn't his wealth, his security team, or his influence. It was awareness. The quiet recognition that something was off changed everything. That small note didn't cause panic. It created clarity. Awareness has a way of slowing time, sharpening focus, and cutting through distraction. Most traps don't snap shut loudly. They close while we're comfortable, distracted, and confident that nothing could possibly go wrong. The real danger isn't the threat itself, but our failure to notice it early. When we're present, when we're paying attention to subtle shifts in behavior, tone, or environment, we give ourselves the chance to respond instead of react. That moment of awareness becomes power. It buys time. It opens options. It reminds us that safety, success, and survival often depend on what we notice, not what we own. And sometimes, noticing is the difference between walking away and never getting the chance. In the end, nothing dramatic happened in that moment. No chase, no confrontation, no public scene. Just a small piece of paper passed quietly from one hand to another. And yet, that simple act carried enormous weight. History doesn't always turn on grand gestures. Sometimes it shifts because someone chose to do the right thing when it mattered most. The waitress didn't know how the story would end. She didn't know if she'd be believed or if her warning would even be taken seriously. But she acted anyway. That's the power of small decisions made with courage. They ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. Every day, we're given moments that test who we are. Moments where staying silent is easier, safer, and more comfortable. But progress, protection, and change are built by those who step forward quietly. Because one thoughtful choice, made at the right time, can alter the course of everything. Everything around him suggested safety. The setting was elegant, the service was polite, and nothing looked out of place. But danger rarely announces itself. It hides behind normalcy, behind smiles, routines, and polished appearances. That's why instinct matters. There's a quiet signal we all feel when something doesn't quite align, even if we can't immediately explain why. The mistake most people make is ignoring it, convincing themselves they're overthinking or being dramatic. But intuition is often the mind connecting patterns faster than logic can catch up. The waitress trusted what she sensed, not what she was supposed to see. And the billionaire survived because he listened beyond the surface. Appearances are designed to comfort us, but instincts are designed to protect us. When those two are in conflict, instinct deserves the final word. The world rewards confidence, but survival rewards caution. And learning to trust that inner alarm, especially when everything looks fine, may be the most valuable skill we ever develop. It's easy to believe that money creates a shield, that success somehow insulates you from harm. But this moment shatters that illusion. Surrounded by luxury, staff, and supposed security, the billionaire was still vulnerable, because danger doesn't check bank balances before it strikes. Wealth can buy comfort, influence, and access, but it cannot buy awareness, loyalty, or truth. In fact, the higher you rise, the more carefully hidden threats can become. People assume you're untouchable, and that assumption becomes a blind spot. Security systems can fail, advisors can be wrong, and trust can be misplaced. Real safety doesn't come from what you have around you. It comes from how clearly you see what's happening within it. This is why humility matters, even at the top. The moment you believe you're too powerful to be threatened is often the moment you're most exposed. And survival favors those who stay alert, not those who feel entitled to safety. In that moment, silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. The waitress didn't shout, didn't panic, didn't draw attention, because noise would have made everything worse. She understood that sometimes speaking loudly is the most dangerous thing you can do. Real communication isn't always about volume. It's about timing and precision. A few carefully chosen words, delivered quietly, can carry more power than a public warning ever could. In high-risk situations, discretion becomes protection. The wrong reaction can expose you, escalate the threat, or close off your options before you even realize they exist. Silence, when used intentionally, creates space to think, to observe, to plan. Turns chaos into control. We live in a world that rewards constant expression, but wisdom often asks us to pause instead. Knowing when not to speak can be just as important as knowing what to say. And in moments of real danger, silence can be the difference between being seen and staying safe.